Welcome back to the Lumiose Post, where we talk about all things Pokemon, and today we are getting into the spooky festivities. On this channel, I've previously done, last year around this time, a bunch of scary stories from the Pokemon world, inspired by the Dex entries, or maybe just events in Pokemon games. And today, well, we've gotten really lucky because we have one tale from Paldea, as well as several from the land of Kitakami. So, without further ado, let's get into some scary stories from the lands of Paldea and Kitakami. This first story, of course, is the one from the Paldea region. It reads as follows. It's 2 a.m. On cue, I hear his footsteps. Every morning, at 2 a.m., on the dot, my neighbor leaves his apartment and goes off into the night. He never cares to keep it down either. He's so loud. He isn't in a rush, just doesn't seem to care. I open my blinds to see him in the parking lot now. He sends out his Cyclozar and climbs on, riding off into the night. The whole time he seems to be in a zombie-like state, as if under some kind of trance. After weeks of this, my curiosity gets the better of me. I rush out of my apartment and send out my Corviknight. Together we fly off, hoping to find my neighbor. It doesn't take much time before we do. He seems to be heading up to the ruins on the hill. I tell Corviknight to take me there as well. Upon arrival, I hide so as not to disturb my neighbor and recall my Pokemon. Why is my neighbor coming out here to these abandoned ruins outside of town at 2 a.m. every morning? I've heard of cults dedicated to a Pokemon believed to be on the reverse side of our world. Could he be a part of something like this? Then something on the ground catches my eye as it reflects the moonlight, shining brilliantly. I pick up the gold object and put it in my pocket. Looks like it could be worth something. My neighbor has now arrived. He seems to be in a state of hypnosis still, but not near as low energy as before. Now he's sporadic, glancing in all directions, shifting about, muttering to himself. He gets on the ground, crawling around and searching frantically, till he finally reaches an old stone. He lets out a bone-chilling laugh, the kind that truly, if nothing else until now has, makes him seem crazy. He moves the stone, still in a fit of maniacal laughter, and begins digging excitedly with his bare hands. After a few minutes of digging and muttering and laughing, he finally bursts into a much bigger, booming laugh, now holding up something that shines in the moonlight. I'm too far away to make out what exactly it is. 760! 760! He shouts excitedly. He then climbs back onto Cyclozar and races back to the apartment complex, laughing the whole way. I have Corviknight beat him there. At this point, I'm concerned. Really concerned. My neighbor needs help. When he arrives, he doesn't even seem to notice me. John, I speak up to him, but he just walks right by me without giving me so much as a glance. Did he even see me? He has a wide smile, though, and keeps saying happily, 239 to go. I follow him inside, still trying to get his attention the whole time. He opens his apartment and laughs, then goes in, excitedly, even leaving the door open. I peek around the corner. There in the middle of his living room sits a chest. John kneels before it, holding out his hands. 760, he says. He sounds happy, but there also seems to be a bit of fear or uneasiness in his voice. The chest slowly opens, and inside sits a little gray figure. Is that a Pokemon? In his hands, I finally see what he grabbed at the ruins. A gold coin, just like the one I'd grabbed. He places the coin in the chest, then looks at the creature in it, saying, 760, only 239 to go. Something compels me. What is this? What is this? I do what I feel forced to do. I reach into my pocket, grab the gold coin from earlier, and rush to the chest, offering up my gold coin as the 761st piece to Gimmighoul. The offering is accepted. Only 238 more to go. I will search for more coins tomorrow. Now we move into the land of Kitakami, where there's a tale about a monster or beast that lives inside the timeless woods. There's a tale here in the land of Kitakami, one that we've passed down for many, many generations now, I remember my grandpa telling it to me as a kid, and he always said he heard it from his own grandfather. I don't know if it's true, but it doesn't matter if it's true. It's enough. Enough to keep the people of Kitakami from venturing into the timeless woods at night. You see, there lives a beast in those woods, and it only comes out on a foggy night. Razor-sharp claws, teeth that could shred you in two, a glowing green eye said to be able to see even the supernatural, and the mark of a blood moon, giving it the name, the Blood Moon Beast. No one here really knows for sure what it is. Some say it's a Pokemon that came here from the north a long, long time ago. Others suggest it could somehow be related to the ogre from Kitakami's history. Some just don't believe in this legend at all. No one dares to find out, though. The Timeless Woods are blessed. They are home to a rare form of Basilisk that bears a white stripe, instead of the more common blue or red seen in other regions. This Basilisk is loved by the people of Kitakami as, well, to be frank, it's delicious. They can also achieve a more powerful evolution called Basilegion, and every once in a while, when they come back from a fishing trip at the Timeless Woods, I'll hear fishermen talk about seeing a Basilegion's corpse, torn to shreds from a slash attack. How is this possible? People will ask, as a ghost-type Pokemon like Basilegion should be immune to a normal-type attack like Slash. It must be the work of the Blood Moon Beast. That's what the fishermen will say. An old man in the village once saw it, or so he claims. It says he tried to battle it, to catch it, and it summoned a Blood Moon with an attack, then used the Blood Moon's power as its own, defeating the man. Again, I don't know if it's true. Maybe there is no Blood Moon Beast. But I don't intend to find out. This next tale from Kitakami is one that many of the children in Kitakami especially need to take to heart. You see, being a child in the Pokemon world, as we know, can be very dangerous. I mean, Hypno apparently accidentally captures children. Drifloon can take them away as well. And another Pokemon that seems to be a problem is Duskull. It's now sundown in this small town, so kids must call it a day. But not Lil Jim, no sir. He just wants to play. Every night he sits and watches for the Requiem Mon. To tell his friend he's still awake, he leaves his lamplight on. Then it arrives with its kin and smiles at little old Jim. Duskull and its 4 friends. They laugh and play and they dance until the night ends. But before the sun's back up, the Duskull must move along. They each give Jim a hug, then sing him a little song. When they all leave, Jim is fast asleep. The reason why is because of Duskull, and it's real deep. You see, the thing about the Requiem Mon is it needs energy to keep moving on. And this small ghost finds its energy host in the children who have so much. So the Duskull always come when it's dusk. So lock your doors and get ready to fight. Because this Pokemon, this Duskull, it comes out every night. A Pokemon that took the Pokemon community by storm previously this year was Poltergeist, who, of course, we were given a glimpse at how scary this Pokemon can be, as it may have just murdered a whole congregation of children and an elderly man telling a story. But here's another tale focusing on it. When arriving in Kitakami, after moving from Unova, there was a lot of things to feel a bit of culture shock about for the Kettle family. The father, an optimistic man named Matthew, was excited to live that simple life as a farmer in Kitakami. He had purchased some land there and was excited to get out of the big city and his office job to work off the land. But he was surprised at just how little there was in Kitakami. No fast food, no easy access to emergency services. It was definitely smaller than Castelia, that's for sure. His wife, Chelsea, was excited for their life in the country, but was also shocked to find that there wasn't much to do there. And their son, Paul, well, he just didn't understand why he couldn't have his favorite snack, matcha cookies. You see, in the land of Kitakami, matcha brings about a dangerous Pokemon. The family was still getting settled in their new home and knew about this tale, so they made sure not to bring any matcha. Their house was a real fixer-upper. The floors creaked, making a sound like someone was walking around in the middle of the night. And Chelsea swore that one of her teacups was placed in a cabinet, but found it on the floor, broken. Weirdest of all, perhaps, was the strange tea caddy left in the attic. The house was cleared out by the previous owner, so why'd they forget this? It was old and rustic, though, so Matthew kind of liked it and had it out on display in the kitchen. The family did their best with the house. They got used to the creaking. They started chalking up the strange disappearances or moving of items to their imagination. But then one day, one fateful day, Chelsea stepped outside to hang some clothes up on the line to dry while Matthew was out in the fields, unaware that their lives would change forever. Little Paul came running out of the house and gave his mom a hug. He thanked her for the cookies she baked that morning, just for him. She smiled and told him she was glad he liked them. "Of course I like them," said Paul. "Matcha is my favorite." Chelsea froze. She didn't put matcha on the cookies. She knows not to do that here. She walks inside and sure enough, there's matcha sprinkled onto the cookies. Chelsea was confused, but ultimately chalked this up to her being tired. It's been a pretty stressful time with the new home and, tending to the fields. It's very different from their life in Castelia, so surely this was some kind of mistake. And maybe there was still some matcha that she had when she brought all of her spices and herbs, and she sprinkled them on the cookies out of habit. I don't know. That's reasonable to believe, right? She certainly doesn't remember doing that. But that must be it, right? Well, the damage is done now. It'd be best to eat them before Matthew gets home and starts to worry, as the people of Kitakami are very adamant about not having matcha. She helps Paul finish the rest of them. Hours later, Matthew arrives. He puts up his tools in the shed and heads inside. When he opens the door, he lets out a scream. There on the ground are his wife and child, seemingly lifeless and only barely breathing. He looks out the window and sees a small Pokemon inhabiting the tea caddy they'd found in the attic, flying off into the night. Let this story be a lesson. The next time you find a mysterious item in a new home, or maybe there's some strange occurrences happening, or maybe some bumps in the night, don't excuse it. Don't shrug it off. You can never be too careful in the terrifying world of Pokemon. Another Pokemon that seems to have really won fans over is Ogerpon, who of course we found was misunderstood and was treated as this terrible ogre from Kitakami's history, but turns out it was all a misunderstanding. This story, though, kind of makes it easy to see how this could be misunderstood. It's a beautiful day in the village. My daughter and I are coming back from the Apple Hills, collecting some apples for a nice, delicious dessert. "How are they looking?" a villager calls to me. "Real good. Sweet apples, tart apples, all aplenty. You and the missus better get on 'em before they're gone." My daughter and I continue on our way when we turn the corner and... who are those Pokemon? 3 Pokemon stand before us. A green, bulky Pokemon, a beautiful bird Pokemon, and a blue Pokemon with a kind of large head. And call me crazy, but I could have sworn a pink round Pokemon was just here but disappeared. Either way, it's strange to see wild Pokemon in the village, especially ones that I don't even recognize from the land of Kitakami. They seem to be happy, though. They are laughing together while marveling at these gorgeous masks they have, very similar to those that the 2 travelers who would visit us in the village every once in a while would wear. About this time, I hear a blood-curdling screech coming from the mountain. I turn to see a masked creature running with a cudgel, wrapped in ivy. It's an ogre! "Ogre, run!" I hear around me the villagers all panicking, frantically trying to get inside. We are still a ways from home. We won't make it. The trio of Pokemon look up towards the ogre, drop the mask, and get into a fighting stance. Are they here to protect us? Surely that must be it. They knew the ogre was coming and came here to save us from it. No time to focus on that. I grab my daughter, throw her on my back, and rush to the nearest house. The door is locked. I turn back. The ogre has reached the village. It violently swings its cudgel at the trio. The bird Pokemon flies away, leaving the large green Pokemon and the small blue Pokemon to fight it. They're buying us time. I can't waste it. I run. I don't know where to, just away. I can feel my daughter shaking, terrified on my back. And then she screams. I glance back and the small blue Pokemon is lying on the ground. Has it fainted? No, I think it's dead. I can't see the other green Pokemon or the ogre, and the bird Pokemon must be long gone by now, but I can still hear commotion from their battle. I rush to an old shed, get inside, and barricade the door. My daughter asked me if we were going to die. Of course not, I tell her. Did you see those 3 Pokemon? They're going to protect us, but we need to be quiet, okay? She nods and we wait. Maybe seconds, maybe minutes. Felt like hours, but I'm sure that's just the nerves. I can hear the fighting even still. In this shed. Is it getting closer? No. Yes. Yes, it is definitely getting closer. A bang on the door. My daughter whimpers and I cover her mouth. There it is again. The large green Pokemon falls through the wall of the shed, and there it is, that hideous ogre, hiding itself behind a teal mask. It raises its cudgel, ready to deliver the final blow to the green Pokemon, when suddenly, it's hit from behind, and the bird Pokemon swoops in. The ogre gets back up and launches itself at the bird, cracking down on its head with its cudgel. The bird is down. The green Pokemon grabs the ogre from behind, and quickly meets the same fate as its 2 friends. The ogre turns towards me and my daughter. We're next. But then, what's this? A tear. I swear, I saw a tear fall from behind that mask. Then it turned away and ran off towards Oni Mountain. Why did it spare us? A change of heart? Was it all a misunderstanding? I don't know. But I like to think that the 3 Pokemon who died were there that day to protect us. They laid down their lives to show their loyalty to the village and its people. My daughter and I can go apple picking every day from here on because of them. Will the ogre return? Maybe. But I like to think that even in death, the loyal 3 will watch over us, and the ogre will stay far away. Well, there you have it, guys. A few scary stories from the land of Kitakami, as well as one from the Paldea region. Be sure to let me know what you thought of these in the comments below. I do know that these videos don't perform as well as my normal videos, but they are a lot of fun to make. So I did want to just put them all in one video instead of doing multiple videos on them. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications because we talk about tons of cool things Pokemon related on here. And until next time, I will see all of you later.